Hi everyone, here's the Chemist once again, and today I'm reviewing The 50-Year Sword by Danielewski. And look, I recently reread House of Leaves by Danielewski, and that's a masterpiece. It's an amazing novel, it's quirky, it's messed up, it's a hell of a ride, but it's also a pain to navigate, but it's worth it. Yeah, it's quirky and it's absurd, but it's highly rewarding. The rest of Danielewski's production, not necessarily so, and The 50-Year Sword is possibly shit. Now, there's one thing to be said, honestly, about this book, which is that it definitely has what I call the D factor, D as in Danielewski. The Familiar has it too, the Familiar you see, you probably don't see shit. The Familiar has it too, by the way, the Familiar is an impossibly better novel and project than The 50-Year Sword. What is the D factor? It's the fact that this is a book that's quirky and messed up, and I don't know if you can see anything about the book, but it's a mess. You only get writing on the left page, and it's all over the place, and if you read 3 words straight in this book, at whatever point, you won't understand shit of what's going on, of what the author is trying to tell you. But if you carry on reading, if you read a whole page and then you go on and read another page and then you carry on, the text becomes surprisingly understandable. And that's brilliant if you think about it. As I said, The Familiar, even its most cryptic and complicated parts have that too. You take a look at the page and there are all these parentheses and all these weird symbols, and you think, what happened? Was there a problem at the printing factory? And then you start reading and you understand that no, it's actually very understandable and quite enjoyable too. And that's great in a way. It's something that deserves to be praised, for sure. But of course, the obvious question that arises in such conditions is, wouldn't it have been better had it been a, standard novel written like all other people in the world write? And that is an idiotic question. It's really a silly question, because it's not like with books you can separate, the plot or the characters from the writing style, from, the experimental presentation and formatting of a book. But it's the kind of silly question that some of Danielewski's works push you to ask. The quirky thing at the heart of this book is that this is basically the story of 5 guys telling around a campfire or something, telling each other a ghost story, and each paragraph, basically each line in this book, begins with a quotation mark, and judging by the color of the quotation mark, you're supposed to understand which one of the 5 characters is speaking. And by the way, the quotation marks are like yellow, light brown, dark brown, and orange. Thank you, Mark, that was very, very nice and cute of you. And, at the beginning you get this paragraph saying, why bother building a whole frame narrative telling you about these guys when I can just use this clever device to tell you when someone is speaking and when somebody else is speaking? Because the frame narrative would have been real fun, and the device doesn't work for shit. Filming a review of The 50-Year Sword feels like a silly enterprise, because of course it's not like Danielewski had no idea about all these things when he was writing the book. Of course, that is exactly what he wanted to write. He wanted to write an experimental, boundary-breaking kind of narrative. It's just that all of his works walk a very fine line between this is innovative and genius and how much cocaine had you sniffed before you started working on this, seriously stop sniffing cocaine. And this one is very much in the cocaine side of the equation, whereas other of his works made me feel more like I was reading a well thought effort. One thing I'll say about this book is that, if I understand correctly, this was read on stage in several occasions and represented through shadow casters and giant shadows, and I'm sure that is amazing. I'm sure that would turn the whole narrative experience into something beautiful. It's a bit as with Lincoln in the Bardo, George Saunders' novel from earlier this year, which I have been told works brilliantly as an audiobook, because all of the different voices in the novel are represented by different characters, and I'm sure in that form it's amazing. As a novel, I thought it was good, but it didn't impress me too much. The same with The 50-Year Sword, except that The 50-Year Sword is not the kind of book I'd recommend to anyone. I mean, it takes 1 hour, 1 hour and a half to read it. So if you have it around the house, why not? Well, I probably wouldn't recommend it to you either. I didn't quite get it, but if you get the occasion, if you get the chance to watch the, Shadowcaster spectacle and show, do watch it. I'm sure it's awesome. Thank you for watching. Did you like the 50-Year Sword? Am I too harsh about this book? And what do you think about Only Revolutions by Danielewski? I think I'll be reading it very soon, and I've heard great things about it, and I'm very curious about that book. Do let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.